This is why I feel like the cost of living has never been as bad as it is right now. Because it used to be when the cost of living was high, it was for the things that you need in life. Food, gas, shelter, etc. All of those things cost a lot of money. Right now, all of those things still cost a lot of money. And also, I feel like it's just expensive to just be alive. Like, I feel like my life as soon as I wake up is literally just me putting down a credit card and it's just a tab. And life is a bartender. And it's just like, what are you gonna have? And I'm just like, I'm okay. I don't really need anything today. And it's just like, oh really? Well, if you're gonna be here, you're gonna need to spend money. And I'm just like, what do you mean here? I'm just in the world. And it's just like, yeah, you have to buy something now. It's even getting to the point where like I feel like even my thoughts are getting expensive. You know, like I could just have the thought of like, my nose is a little stuffy, and then all of a sudden I open up my phone 10 minutes later and have 12 ads for like, oh, you have a pollen allergy and you gotta buy these anti-pollen allergy pills or you're gonna suffocate in your sleep. Sleep is the only place I still feel kind of safe, but even there, it's like I could have sleep problems for one night and then I wake up feeling kind of groggy and all of a sudden I'm getting targeted ads for melatonin gummies. It's like all of our necessities are still expensive, and then also just every increment of our life costs something.
It doesn't seem like anytime soon prices are going to start going down. We can see it when we're talking about groceries, rents, buying houses, insurance, all of it. Prices are not going to go down. If anything, they're going to keep going up further and further. Millions of Americans are starting to feel burdened in determining, what they need to get. They're choosing between two necessities, food or gas. They're choosing between things they shouldn't have to choose between. The largest factor for the cost of living crisis has to be the housing market. Take a look at some of these housing market clips.
Okay, I'm not trying to say y'all are lying about your mortgage payments, but I need some clarity. I'm gonna put some photos right here. I'm on the mortgage side of TikTok. I'm, I guess, on the wrong side because I can never afford this. Mortgage, $5,300. I'm gonna post all the pictures right here. Mortgage, $2,919. Mortgage, $5,073. I have to recheck. Hold on. I just went back and rewatched those videos. $5,000 for mortgage? Okay, people clap at me like, oh, you chose a camper. Heck yeah! How are y'all... Okay, how are y'all affording mortgage? Okay, so my question for you, honestly, what is your mortgage, what's your insurance, and what year did you buy the house? I know the later the year, the cheaper your mortgage is, but $5,000, guys? When y'all signed, what jobs are you working? There's no way y'all are playing, everybody on my For You page is 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. Are y'all really, did y'all really sign that for 30 years? I need to know if this is true or not.
I want to talk about the housing market for a minute. And look, I'm no real estate agent. I'm no expert. I'm just an average, everyday American. But it has been brought to my attention, as I'm sure every American knows, even though I own my home, these not only mortgages, but even rent prices since the 1970s have increased. For homes, over 1,000%. For rent, over 54% since the 1970s. It's insane. Look at this chart by Consumer Affairs, a median home sales price from 1973 to 2023. And they even adjusted for inflation on this side here in the light blue. Look at this. Look at this version. This is for median rent since 1973 to 2023. This is out of control. The American dream is for people to work a job to be able to provide for their family and take care of their kids and set their children up to be able to take care of their kids. Also with home ownership. That is part of the American dream. I don't know how the average day American still feels like they have access to it with numbers like that. Now, I live in Georgia, and we have our General Assembly legislative session coming up on January 13th. This is where our Georgia State House and Georgia State Senate come together to create the legislation for the year for the state of Georgia. You see those costs, even though those are for America overall, Georgia's in America. So please, 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 please contact your local Georgia State Senator and Georgia State Representative and let them know just how important it is to you that we do something about this affordability crisis, not only in our state, but across the country.
The economy isn't working for working people. The reason why we have an affordable housing crisis in this country is by design. It's not a crisis. If you look at what's happening in the housing market right now, private equity and large corporations in the next 50 years will own the majority of residential housing. And most people will be renters. Now, you're already seeing a trend with people in their 20s and 30s and 40s are buying houses later on in life. And most people already from 18 to 40 are disproportionately renters and not homeowners compared to the generation before them and the generation before that. And so it's the same thing. That's by design. Mm-hmm. That's not just happening by accident, or it's just a trend and it's just there's other. No, that's by design.
And that's just the housing market. That's not talking about insurance that has went up 3-4 times already this year. That's not talking about grocery prices. That wasn't even talking about rent. It's just homes. And housing is only supposed to be 30% of your income, but it's really 50, 60 for a lot of people. The economy is getting so bad and so outrageous that most Americans can't survive. And that's what I talk about a lot on this channel. So go ahead and subscribe and support me.
Prices are never coming down. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's time to accept reality. Grocery prices are not lower than they were a year ago or 5 years ago. Gas prices are about the same price as they were a year ago, and we don't want them to go down to $2 a gallon again, because the last time they were at $2 a gallon, that's when the world was shut down. The unfortunate truth is that the governments actually have a 2% goal of price increases for just about everything. That's the inflation goal, right? So price increases are just a fact of life. Now, for people like you and me, unfortunately, that means that prices we are seeing now, this is the new normal. This is what we are paying just to survive. And it's unbelievable. Energy bills we're paying, the water bills we're paying, the groceries. I mean, I can't even have fun at the grocery store. It used to be my favorite part of the day. Now I dread it. All these nameless, faceless trolls in my comments telling me my grocery prices are lower because of, who's in charge. What planet are you living on? Okay? Nobody can afford to survive here anymore. It's exhausting. But you know what? I think instead of focusing on trying to bring prices down and yearning for a past of lower prices that's unfortunately never going to happen again, maybe we should look to a future of higher wages. Now, hold on. I know this is controversial for some reason, but you know what? Wages need to come up. And I hate when older people tell me, oh, well, minimum wage is too high these days. These kids working at Taco Bell, they don't deserve to make $20 an hour or whatever it is. You know what? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Minimum wage is too low because no one can afford to live on that. And it's just a crazy argument. To argue against raising wages is just the silliest argument. And it has no basis in reality. And if you're watching this and you think that minimum wage is too high, I welcome you to try and live on minimum wage in America. And I can tell you, you will change your mind very quickly. It's time to stop waiting for some politician to magically swoop in and tell us that the prices are going to get lower. Because, spoiler alert, they're not. It's time to start working towards a future where we can all earn enough to survive. Because I think that's the only option at this point.
I am at a struggle in my life, which I do feel and know I will get through, but it kind of hit around the summertime and it just then lingered all the way until now. What didn't make it no better, was paying $21,000 on car rentals for 7 months after my car got towed. So that really is what put the icing on the cake. But baby, I can't do it. So yeah. So we're not going to do Christmas as far as like gifts and toys.
Okay, so my topic for my research final is how poverty contributes to low literacy rates among children, right? And obviously, like some of those things are really obvious, right? Like location determines the quality of education you're gonna get, right? If you're poor, you're attending public schools, and usually they have less resources than like private or charter schools. Also things like just like lack of resources at home, right? If you're poor, you're not going to have as many books as home. Your parents are going to be working more, so they're not going to read to you as much. And all of these things kind of weren't a surprise to me. But something really shocking that I'm finding through my study is like the neuroscience of how poverty like affects a child's brain. Basically, children of lower socioeconomic status literally have less gray matter and like connectivity in the left hemisphere of their brain, which processes information and is responsible for like our language comprehension. And the reason that, or the theorized reason for why lower income children have less of this like structural integrity in the left hemisphere of their brain is literally like is also connected back to their socioeconomic status. Poor children are less likely to have like a like adequate nutrition, right? So that impacts brain development. They're also way more likely to be exposed to toxins, having lead in the home, being exposed to like unclean drinking water, and all of these things literally break down a child's brain and make it so they do not have the like physiological ability to comprehend and succeed in the way that middle income or higher income students can. And I just thought that was crazy, because I feel like I would assume it's purely environmental factors and not necessarily a lack of ability. And it's not always a lack of ability, obviously. Like you can teach a child to do a lot, right? But in many cases, it's like they're literally functioning at a different level than people of a better financial situation, because their brains didn't get the opportunity to develop in a healthy way. And I just think that is crazy how we are set up to be like kept in a cycle of poverty for like from birth for the rest of our lives. It's truly unescapable. It fucks up your brain to be a poor kid. I just thought that was crazy.
I just had to choose between putting $4 in my tank to go to work tomorrow, or do I use this $4 for food? And when I texted my boss, literally 2 seconds ago, with letting her know, because I just started this job, with letting her know that, hey, I'm not gonna be able to make it to work tomorrow. And I just was straight up. I just said, I have $4 to my name and I'm broke and I'm not gonna be able to make it to work tomorrow. So her response was, I'm going to count this as an unexcused absence.
And a lot of people and employers and business owners, they know how hard times are, and they still just don't care. As long as you show up to work and make them profit, that's all they care about. They do not care about what you have going on, any problems. If you can't afford to feed your kids, you can't even afford to put gas in the tank to get to work. They do not care about you. All they care about is their bottom line and their profit margins. I mean, it's pretty often where you look at, social media and you see people spending large sums of money knowing that you're struggling, and it just deteriorates your soul, because you would never be able to get to that level of financial freedom, just like what this lady was talking about.
Gut-wrenching it is to get on TikTok and see people spending like $11,000 on Dior advent calendars, or people spending $8,000 on like Tiffany bracelets, and just know that like you will never be able to have that. Like you will never see that kind of money in your lifetime. Like, no hate. If I had the money, I would definitely be spending it. They do their thing, no issues there. But like, just watching that makes me so depressed. Like, where did I go wrong in life to where like I genuinely can't even afford to buy furniture for my apartment, or like I can't afford to go on vacation. Like I literally am struggling day to day, even though I work 40 hours a week. Like I work a full-time job. But like, I would never see that kind of money. And it's depressing because like money is not everything, but it's a fucking lot. It is. And I just wish that I had more of it to be comfortable and more happy in life. And I just don't think that I'm ever going to see that amount of money to where I just like have to wake up and like never stress ever again.
It shouldn't be embarrassing to be broke, not in this economy. I feel like we're all struggling financially, and it needs to be normalized that some of us are struggling financially, and that is okay. This week, my account went negative for the first time since before I was married, and it literally just was so embarrassing, and it shouldn't have been. I literally had to tell a friend that I didn't have the money to do something, and I also had to tell a brand that I didn't have the money to cover an out-of-pocket expense. And the way I felt so embarrassed, even though like it shouldn't be embarrassing, but all to say, if you are in a situation similar, just know you are not alone. A lot of us are struggling financially in this economy.
So I was on the way to take my 4 and my 7-year-old to school today, and today was my 4-year-old's first day of pre-K. And I looked down and realized that my gas light was on, so I stopped at the gas station, take the kids in to get some gas. And we've been struggling this week. We had a lot of bills come out, and on top of that, my car tore up, so I had to pay to have that fixed. And I thought I had $15 left on my card, and I have a whole line of people behind me, so I swipe my card, it declines. And I'm like, oh my God, let me try another card. And swipe that card, it declines. And I could tell that the cashier lady was getting frustrated with me, and there was literally like 10 people behind me. And I really didn't know what to say. So before I could say anything, a gentleman behind me says, don't worry about it, I'll pay for it. And I was so humiliated. All I could say was, I'm so sorry, thank you, with my head down, and grab my kids' hands and go out the door. Like I said before, I'm 4 months postpartum. I'm just now getting back into work. I have a small cleaning business that I've had to put on hold so I could stay home with my baby. The first few months, I'm just now getting back into that. But these last few months have been a struggle. And it's a really shitty feeling as a 30-year-old mom that I couldn't put $15 worth of gas in my car. And I'm not posting this for sympathy. I'm not posting this to ask for money. I'm posting this because this is real life shit for so many people. And a lot of people don't want to come forward about what they're going through because they're embarrassed. So I'm here to be that light for you guys. But this is real life shit for a lot of people. And my life is not always glamorous. My life is not always happy rainbows. And I'm not going to come on here and pretend like it is, because it's not. I'm not one of those lucky individuals that had family pass them down wealth or land or cars. Every little thing I've had, every shitty vehicle I've owned, I have worked my butt off for. And all I know is I'm about to work my ass off to make sure that that never happens again. Is it the first time it's happened? No. No, it's not the first time it's happened. But I'm to a point where I am tired of scraping by. I'm tired of just getting by, and I want to live comfortably. And I'm about to work my ass off these next few months to make sure that's going to happen. I really, really hope this TikTok thing works out for me.